all be there. The Greek phrase is resurrection from among the dead. It's always in the plural. And so it has to do with the ultimate outcome of things.
You've just made my point.
And everybody's going to participate there. And even if there's nothing left of your body, physically,
no, you've just
Paul says, there will be a new transformed way in which you will be present. So it's the reassurance that despite what happens to your body, totally disappeared and gone in martyrdom, you will still be present in the general resurrection.
That ignores two other facts. The development in 2nd Maccabees is about a physical body precisely because that was the concern. And it ignores the point that I made about 1 Corinthians 6, which is that the body matters to Paul ethically and eschatologically with regard to the end time, because there is going to be a body that's raised. Granted, it'll be different. That's what 1 Corinthians 15 is about. But it is still connected to the nature and behavior of what you do with this body. And I don't know of an exegesis of 1 Corinthians 6, I'll say it this strongly, that reads 1 Corinthians 6 any other way.
Dr. Craig?
Well, I was going to say to Daryl Schmidt's point that in the case of the Jewish martyrs, the point you're making at best would show that if there were no remains of the dead, say that the martyrs were utterly cremated or obliterated, that God could still raise this person from the dead, even in the absence of any remains. But that doesn't imply that therefore if there are remains, that these are not the subject of the resurrection. For the Jew, the bones were preserved because these were the subject of the resurrection. The primary object of the resurrection were the bones. Now, of course, an omnipotent God, if he had no bones to work with, could still create them ex nihilo, but given that there are remains, these are surely the subject of the resurrection.
But Paul himself in 1 Corinthians 15 calls it foolish to talk that way. Everybody knows what from dust thou art and to dust thou shalt return. There's ultimately nothing left in the grave but
that's
dust.
About flesh. We're not talking about flesh. We're talking about body. We're talking about the image that Paul uses in 1 Corinthians 15 of a seed
as a metaphor
that becomes
what does that mean?
He
says totally changed.
I think we're
different.
articulating what it means. I'm struggling to understand what you say it means, because it's not clear to me what it is after it's raised.
Well, doesn't what
we
Paul
know what it's not? It's not material. It's not physical.
No,
it's not flesh.
Well, he says it's not natural, right? He doesn't say soma physikon. He says soma psychikon. It's not a natural body. And by that, what Paul thinks is foolish is anyone who thinks that this corruptible mortal body will inherit the kingdom of God. He says, therefore I tell you a mystery, we shall all be changed. And this mortal must put on immortality. This corruptible must put on incorruption. So there is, as I said, I think, historical continuity and therefore numerical identity between the body that is sown and the body that is raised. But it will be a transformed body, obviously. We all agree with that.